George Orwell has been noted as one of the most influential political authors of the 20th century. On June 25, 1903, Eric Arthur Blair, later known as George Orwell, was born in Matahara, which is a British colony located in modern-day India. His father worked in the Indian Civil Service, overseeing opium exports to Asia. When Eric Blair was 1 year old, his mother and sister moved to England. Other than a visit in 1907, Blair did not see his father until 1912. This absence of a father figure in his life left a huge void that no one could fill until he returned in 1912. His father's non-existence was one of the several disappointments that later led to his great success as a writer. In 1917, Blair was a recipient of a prestigious King's Scholarship to Eton College, a famous boys' prep school in England. Eric Blair left England and joined the Indian Imperial Police in Burma. The force was organized to maintain order in the British colonies. After 5 years on the force, he left because of health reasons and his desire to become an English writer. He would later write essays about his experiences in Burma and the oppression that he witnessed while the British used their colonies to gain resources and improve their economy. In 1933, Blair came up with a pen name known as George Orwell. He combined the monarch of England and the Orwell River at Suffolk. This pen name allowed him to gain publicity, which led to a boost of confidence in his writing. After creating a pen name, he published his first book, Down and Out in Paris and London, and his first novel, Burmese Days. Down and Out in Paris and London is a narrative about his tramp life existence in Europe. Burmese Days is a resentful description of the corruption that filled the imperial colony of Burma. In 1936, Orwell married a student from London, Aline O'Shaughnessy. Aline was a major influence in Orwell's literature. One of her poems influenced him to write 1984. Sadly, his mother and wife both died in 1943 and 1945, which resulted in a depressive mood that he had the rest of his life. However, during this tough time, Orwell wrote his most popular writings, Animal Farm in 1984. Animal Farm is an allegorical novel about farm animals relating to the Russian Revolution. During the Russian Revolution, equality is stressed. In Animal Farm, Orwell discusses the topic. Orwell's stance on equality is that he wants to have it, but in reality, men will always desire to be more powerful and there's always a continual need for a leader. Orwell depicts for his audience that communist governments such as the Russian government he satires in Animal Farm serve only to destroy the individual in the name of upholding the common good. In reality, according to Orwell, dictators serve only to serve themselves and to maintain their own power at all costs. 1984 is a novel portraying a controlling dystopic government. Orwell employs satire and allegories in Animal Farm and 1984 to address social and political injustice, the loss of individuals' rights, and the demise of personal freedoms through physical control of a tyrannical government. Throughout his writings, Orwell shows how powerful governments abuse their citizens and force them to obey without refusal or rebellion. He includes several real-world topics and historically accurate facts in his writings to establish a more genuine narrative. George Orwell writes about the social and political injustice and the loss of individuals' rights to establish a connection with the audience of the problems happening in the modern society. Claire Linamendia, an expert on political theories, comments on the importance of equality, but with an exception. Only when all members of society saw the essential need for individual responsibility and honesty at the heart of any struggle for freedom and equality could the basic goals of socialism, as Orwell saw them, be approached more closely. Orwell performs this task of writing because he actually cares about the well-being of his readers and is attempting to enlighten them on the problems of several governments that he has experienced, trying to teach them not to make the same mistakes that he has made in the past. While he was writing 1984, Orwell found out that he contracted tuberculosis, an infectious bacterial disease that is located in the lungs. This upcoming video talks about what Orwell thinks the future will be like and how it resembles 1984.
But he left one final warning.
1984 is, I believe, a quite terrifying masterpiece. So terrifying, in fact, I don't think I should like to read another like it.
I am not absolutely dissatisfied with it. I think it is a good idea, but the execution would have been better if I had not been under the influence of TB when I wrote it.
You once claimed that you have an ability to face unpleasant facts. Is that what you've demonstrated in 1984 by drawing an accurate portrait of the future?
I think that allowing for the book being, after all, a parody, something like 1984 could actually happen. This is the direction the world is going in at the present time. In our world, there will be no emotions except fear, rage, triumph and self-abasement. There will be no loyalty except loyalty to the party. But always there will be the intoxication of power. Always, at every moment, there will be the thrill of victory, the sensation of trampling on an enemy who is helpless. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. The moral to be drawn from this dangerous nightmare situation is a simple one. Don't let it happen. It depends on you.
One year after the publication of 1984, Orwell died from tuberculosis in 1950. George Orwell's life can be summarized as having bad luck that eventually turns into great accomplishments.